Welcome to The Cat Conversation, a podcast helping cat people understand their cats better. I'm KJ, your kitty correspondent. If you enjoyed the show, please make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe. How you doing? It is KJ with you, and it is a very special edition of the Cat Conversation. I'm so glad that you can be here with us tonight. I got Johnny Storm here, and he has been beaten up on his favorite toy here, this poor, sad little duck. You want to get it, Johnny Storm? You want to get it? So, if you tune in for the KJ Today show, we're up in the studio. But I figured since we were doing the cat conversation that we should have as many cats as possible. And as you can see, we have 7 cats, and I have one that just kind of wants to be maybe on screen right here.
That's because they're jerks.
Hang on a second. Let me shake this up and see if anybody comes. Hi, Johnny Storm. We're of course going to have Buffy and Giles making appearances because they are our kittens. We've got this. I haven't talked about it yet, but we have got a treadmill and we have been training the kittens on it. So you are going to see video very soon of Buffy and Giles and actually Malcolm are all doing really well on the treadmill. Oh my gosh, are you ready to go? You're going to show off? You're going to show them how you do this? You've been practicing. Do you need help? Thanks for joining. If you didn't know, the Cat Conversation is a podcast that I have been doing monthly, and we have some amazing guests. Dr. Oldenstall has been on with me. Just had nationally recognized cat behavioralist Dr. Rachel Geller. So if you're looking for some entertaining and also educational information to help you with your cat, please make sure that you subscribe in all of the podcast places. And now Buffy's tail has made an appearance. Thank you, Patches. He is behind the scenes producing tonight. Catconversation.com is where you can go. It'll link you to the podcast. And if you want to watch the show like we do the KJ Today show and you prefer watching it like you are now, there's also a link to our YouTube page. So without further ado, tonight's Cat Conversation is all about celebrating the amazing pet lovers and whiskey lovers who helped us so much this weekend at Whiskey and Whiskers. And as a treat to celebrate for you, we have got 2 kitty cams live from ARPO Foster Homes tonight. Joining us, Lori White is here from ARPO. Also, you can see all of the beautiful kitties. Lori's kitties oh my gosh, look at them. And then we've got the Buffy kitties that are at Marie's house. So Marie is the foster that fostered our Buffy kitties. And this is the Buffy gang too. They're at the bottom of the screen. As a reminder, if you're a part of the KJ crew, please put in the comments where you are watching from tonight and what your crew number is. And if you don't have a crew number, go to kjcrew.com. That's crew with a K, kjcrew.com. Get your number and get signed up because you'll get the Positive Vibes newsletter and you'll find out about all the cool stuff that we're doing before anyone else, including all of this kitten action that's going on. Okay. We need to take the screen on the Flame Point kitten. Before we get into the totals we're going to be announcing, Patty Spittler with us. You guys, look at that little baby. Oh, my gosh. Lori, are you with us? Can you give us a little inside information on this brand new kitty and friends that you have taken in?
Sure. So we have taken in a mama. She's over on the other side here. I'm inside the playpen right now with the kittens. A mama and her 4 kittens. So we've got, this is Daisy. So we named the mom Marigold. That was the name the shelter gave her. So we kind of went with a flower and bee theme. So we've got Daisy. We have Bumblebee and Buzz Buzz. And over here we have Sunflower.
Oh, and so you just got these this mama and kitties today, right?
Yes, they came up in transport this morning, so they arrived to me about 9 a.m. So,
and I saw on your post, so they have been waiting, and so up until today, like these are the first hours that these kittens are seeing life outside of a cage, correct?
Yes, so they were in a shelter for unfortunately over a month. Their intake date was June 21st. So Mama Marigold came in. Kittens were only a day or two old. And so they just have been living their whole life in a small cage at the shelter until today. So they're very excited to be stretching their legs. And Mama Marigold is already a lap cat. She's already been on my lap helping me work and just very affectionate. Just seems so happy to be out and about. So
and then we're already getting a question about those babies at the bottom. I'm familiar with them because as being a sponsor with Whiskey and Whiskers, the KJ Today Show got to name a group of kittens. And so since we have Buffy and Giles that were the original group of Buffy kitties, I was like, we have to keep the Buffy names going. So Marie, do you want to introduce the little crew that you've got, the Buffy gang too?
Sure. Right here you got Oz, the ginger.
Oh.
And then you got Cordelia, the black kitten, the little girl. And we got Willow climbing all over my lap, of course. She's the tortie. And we got Dawn. You gonna look over here, Dawn?
Dawn.
Dawn
She's going to pay attention to me.
surprise sister that showed up as a singleton at the shelter to join the group.
Which is, I mean, it was so funny when you sent me that picture. And first of all, like being a tuxedo, like our Buffy and Giles are, I was like, of course she showed up. So a lot of times these singles that you see, we don't know their history. We don't know why she ended up, by herself, but she's sitting in a cage at a shelter and she's not going to get socialization. She's not, going to get all of that stuff they need in the beginning to really, grow up and be a good pet and know how to be around other pets and know how to be around people. It was pretty amazing how quickly she was welcomed into that group, wasn't it?
Yes, they all just love her like their real sister.
Okay. So we're going to keep kitty cams going as we talk, but I want to share with all of you the story of ARPO. ARPO is one of the longest running rescues in the state of Indiana, and I didn't even know that, and I've adopted from them. If you followed along, Jonna from the Kind of Nerdy Girls is adopted from them. I know we've got Michelle, one of our new producers from the Kind of Nerdy crew. She's got 2 of their kittens. Like, we have an ARPO community going in the KJ Today group. And I wanted to make sure that we shared the lovely story of ARPO. So we're going to come back with live kitty cam. But before we do that, I would like to introduce you. I'm very proud to share with you the story of ARPO, the Alliance for Responsible Pet Ownership.
ARPO stands for ARPO, Alliance for Responsible Pet Ownership. And so the name really says a lot of it. It's talking about not just getting a pet and having a pet, but being responsible. ARPO was founded in 1998. They're one of Indiana's oldest rescues. So it's pretty cool to be a part of an organization that has that much longevity.
I am a huge believer in ARPO because we see so many good people do so much good work.
This is Bunny Lou. She had an amputation done. I actually work at Indy Vet, and a Good Samaritan had brought her in. It wasn't a repairable fracture, and so amputation was the best option for her. And she's healed very well and not holding her back whatsoever.
Our biggest expense is veterinary costs. So we really do rely on the support of our donors to help with those medical expenses, to be able to help as many animals as we can. One of ARPO's most important missions is to take in animals that might not otherwise have a home. So we see a lot of animals that might be stray from the community, and there might be some situations where people can no longer care for their animals. Probably the biggest source of our animals is from local shelters. Our partnering rescues, and ARPO kind of allows the animals to have the socialization. They can kind of learn what it's like to be part of a family.
There's so many cats and kittens in the shelter, and many of them that I have pulled, we were told that they were going to be euthanized the next day if they're not pulled out of the shelter. So your goal is to find the perfect matches for your kittens so we can make space and get more out of the shelters.
There are a lot of great reasons why I chose ARPO to foster with, but my favorite reason is that you get to choose the type of animal that you want to foster. So we have people that specialize in, for example, bottle baby kittens, these kittens that are a day old that weigh 100 grams. And we've got people that love large dogs.
A lot of the fosters that I work with, we like to have mama cats and kittens because we know when we're taking care of that mom and kittens that it's going to be their last litter and that they're going to be happier and healthier.
I think that the question that I get a lot is like, how do you say goodbye? It's definitely hard. I probably cry every time I drop one of them off.
I think any foster that has an animal that comes into their home, there's going to be an emotional component. The reality of this type of work, you're going to see loss. That's really hard because you feel like you care for this animal. You take them to all their vet appointments. You're holding them when you know they don't feel good. And I try to tell myself that even if there are a few over the years that don't have the outcome that we want to see, they were in a home, they knew love, and to me, that's always the most important.
This is Hazel. So Hazel was taken in by ARPO, and I kept it a secret because I knew my family would freak out. We have always had a dog named Zuma. He passed away, and it was kind of hard for us to imagine getting another dog, so we waited and waited. And then finally, I was like, all right, to my husband. I showed him one picture. He was like, go meet the dog. Everything like fell into place, and we were like, this is meant to be. This is our next dog, and we love her.
There's a saying in the foster community that's kind of goodbye is the goal. It means you've done your best for the animal, and I just try to tell myself I'm just their first step on their journey.
Before I took the Buffy litter, I had a really sick group. They were my s'mores kittens, Marshmallow, Graham Cracker, and Hershey Bar. The vet was actually pretty sure that 2 of the 3 of them were gonna die. So I just left in the basement with those kittens for about 2 weeks, but they all made it. So I wanted an easy group, my next group. I saw the Buffy group. They were absolutely healthy, sweet. Oh my gosh, they lived on my lap. Such an easy group. And then you schedule them for their neuters and their spays, and you think, oh my gosh, so easy, neuter, 5-minute surgery, right? When I got to the clinic, they let me know that Giles' heart stopped while he was being neutered. And so obviously right then and there, I just started bawling. I didn't know what he was gonna be like when he came out or what he was gonna need or if I would even be able to take care of him. He was very lethargic. He looked very, very sick compared to the healthy kitten I dropped off that morning. And then I had to call their person that wanted to adopt them, and I had to fill her in about her future kitten and what happened, and that we really didn't know what the outcome was gonna be at that point in time. He ended up doing great. You wouldn't even know that he had died the day before. That's what we're saying with fostering. You never know what's gonna happen while they're in your care.
It's the work that you do to get that animal ready and knowing that maybe their future would not have happened this way if you wouldn't have stepped in to help.
I have on my wall, I have a photo of every group of fosters that I've fostered so that I have a memory of each one of them.
It's kind of like the best of both worlds. You get to help, you get animals like kittens, like what's better than kittens?
There's all kinds of ways that you can get involved. You could help transport, you could help take animals to their vet appointments, volunteer at different types of fundraising events, donating supplies and food. Definitely kitten food. The amount of food that a litter of 6 kittens goes through in a week is pretty insane. Wet food is definitely needed to keep their little bellies full. And then also for our dogs, having toys for them, just basic supplies like collars and leashes are always good things to have on hand as well.
Please adopt. You save so many animals, and it's always rewarding and always fun.
Oh man, I said I wasn't gonna cry, and I made that video. I edited that video. Every time I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go through this one more time. So that is the story of ARPO, and that is just a few of the pets whose lives have been touched and saved because of the Alliance for Responsible Pet Ownership. So as you can see, if you're just tuning in, we have got live kitty cams going. Let's talk about Whiskey and Whiskers. It was amazing on Sunday. I mean, for me personally, when you start talking about a first time event, you just hope that people come. You hope that you spread the word. There are so many things that you're competing with in general, just people having lives on the weekend and they'd love to come to your event, but they don't. And the people came out. It was incredible. So I want to go to Lori first and see, do you want to give everybody the big news about how much was raised and then talk a little bit more about the event?
Absolutely. So we are proud to say that we brought in over $30,000 from Whiskey and Whiskers. That was a combination of ticket sales, our silent auction, selling some of our event merchandise, sponsorship. So definitely, like you said, we didn't know what to expect with our first time doing this event, but it really just got us excited, and we already are. The ideas are churning in our minds of what we can do to make it even better next year. So we're just absolutely thrilled.
I love to hear that. How were the volunteers? You have all these volunteers that are working every day on the mission, but this was, a group of people that had to come together to then be event people as well. How are they feeling at the end of this?
Yeah, I think, there were a lot of volunteers that hadn't been to the venue. I mean, we had meetings and things like that beforehand to try to prepare them. But I think walking in and seeing the magnitude of what we had organized, everybody seemed very impressed and just proud to be part of an organization that, had the capability to have so many people work together to make this, come into fruition was just really exciting. So I think they had a good time. And from what I hear, they're looking forward to next year as well.
Oh, well, that is what we love to hear. So we're not done yet because we did sell a lot of bottles of the whiskey. And guys, that we haven't really talked about that part, but that was months ago that you and Marie and I and a nice group of people got to go to West Fork Whiskey and kind of go behind the scenes. And I was blown away when they were, tapping those. I don't even know if that's right, tapping the barrels, but like literally just with a drill, drilling into the barrel. And whiskey going everywhere. So we were able to pick out a couple, and we had the Tipsy Tabby and also the Howlin Hooch, and those are still available. So if people didn't get to participate in the fun, let's talk about how they can get those bottles.
Yes, so they are still available for sale at West Fork Whiskey Company and at their Westfield location. There's two varieties, Tipsy Tabby and Howlin Hooch. So the weeded bourbon and a high rye bourbon. They're $49.99, and 25% of the sales price will go directly to ARPO.
Ah, very nice. And I've got a picture of Buffy. So that's what the bottle looks like. And that is, of course, the Tipsy Tabby, because that's what we have here. Very similar bottle, but a fun way to celebrate ARPO and also, continue to support the mission.
And I will say that is the Tipsy Tabby is the weeded bourbon, and guys, it's like a little treat. I'm telling you, it's outstanding.
So we had some fun guests along with us. Dixie the praying dog. I completely missed out when she was on her Jeep. Like, oh, there we go. I was hoping that that we would get a drive by on the treadmill.
Oh, that was perfect.
Listen, the entire time we were running the story there on ARPO, both Buffy and Giles were behind me, running on this together, chasing each other on it. I was like, are you seriously doing all of this right now while we're playing the video? So I swear they do run on it. But one of the guests that we had, along with Dixie the praying dog, was Patty Spittler from Pet Pals TV, and she wanted to be here with us tonight. How funny is this, Lori? I'm sitting here talking to you about pets. Patty's at a sneak preview of Deadpool.
Oh my God.
So apparently there's like the world's ugliest dog makes an appearance in Deadpool and has a storyline in it. So she was telling me today, I don't really like these movies. I don't know why I'm going to a superhero movie. And I'm like, oh man, Patty, are you in for a treat with Deadpool?
I will say the world's ugliest dog actually showed up on the red carpet for the premiere. There's actual photos.
Oh, that's funny. Well, here is Patty with a little message about the event and her first time trying bourbon.
I mean, I don't know how they do it, and they're overloaded right now with the too many animals and a lot of responsibility. It's a tough job, and I really admire those folks.
And how were you feeling when you started sipping on the Tipsy Tabby and the Howlin Hooch?
Oh, I told you this, so and don't tell anybody, but everybody knows now. Before Sunday, I was a bourbon virgin. I had never tasted bourbon before. I didn't know what to expect. So they brought these little tiny, I should have known because it was so small, little tiny tasting things, little plastic things. And I see you and you're sipping. Oh, and Patrick, your husband, he's going for it. And everybody seemed okay with it. So I took a little swig. Hoya. That's pretty strong. That's pretty strong stuff. And as I asked the crowd when I got up and I said something, I said, they may see hair on my chest because it was just, that's pretty strong. That's pretty strong stuff. And okay, you know what? We'll do it again.
Okay.
You get me another invitation and I'll try it again.
You got it. Lori, are you good with giving Patty an invitation to come back next year?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
So we haven't had a whole lot of time to actually catch up. Were you able to, Lori, because I know sometimes when you're putting on an event like that, it's over and you're like, did I participate? It was kind of a blur. Were you able to sip on some whiskeys and enjoy yourself a little bit?
I did have one drink from Tito's. That was the little cocktail. I'm a fruity drink person. So I had the lemonade and the strawberry puree with their vodka. I tasted that. But, I think it's just mainly I wanted to make sure things were going smoothly for everyone else. And so you're just trying to do pulse points with vendors and with the volunteers. And, you see a couple of guests that or people that you have, adopted from you. You want to make sure to talk to them. So it's a little bit like a wedding where you feel like it's over and then you see video footage and you're like, oh, I missed that, or I didn't see that, or, everybody has a different perspective from where they are. So it's kind of interesting to see those as a few days go by and some more scenes come available that I didn't get to see myself.
What about you, Marie, over there in Kitty Playland?
I had a couple drinks that my son brought me. He is over 21.
Excellent.
He's like, you got to try this. You got to try that. And his girlfriend was also working the event and she got me a drink too. So, and I got to enjoy the food. The food was delicious. So,
oh my gosh, can we talk about, let's kind of run through and talk a little bit about, the food. We've talked about the whiskey and some of those sponsors that were there making it happen. Starting with, Atrium Market and our wonderful chef, Dave. Lori, that is a connection that you had. And I found out he also fosters cats for you.
That's correct. So he and his wife, Amanda, adopted 2 kittens from me. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago now. And so we got to become friends through that. And then he and his wife had a stray kitty kind of population in their backyard a few years ago and reached out for how, maybe ARPO could help them. And they became fosters through that group and took those stray cats in from their backyard. And I think got hooked on the fostering bug ever since.
That's really amazing. And that's, kind of how it happens, right? Is that, you never know when a cat's going to find you and change your life.
Yeah, definitely one of those situations where they stepped up. A lot of times we get calls where people want our help, but they want us just to kind of handle things. It was nice for them to say, hey, I can take this group in. This is something we can do. We're willing to foster them to help out, make sure the mom gets spayed and, get everybody adopted. So, and now look where we are.
Look at this. Who's the kitty that's making all the noise?
This is Bumble.
Oh, Bumble. Oh, goodness. Got a lot to say. I bet. Are they getting hungry? They looking for mama?
They were at the milk bar a couple minutes ago, but
how were they?
Yeah.
You mentioned, Lori, about, in Dave's story and about stepping up. There is a need right now for, I think, people sometimes go, I don't know if I could ever foster. It would be too hard to say goodbye, or I don't know if I have time to help out. But you hit on it a little bit in the video, but maybe for people who are just tuning in, what are some of those, things that people can do right now? Because it's kind of like it's taken a village right now. There's so many kittens, there's so many, dogs that need home. How can we help with the ARPO mission?
Yeah, so great question. I mean, there's things that you can do as far as transportation. So we need drivers, maybe help fosters get their animals to vet appointments if maybe they're working or they can't, get there by a certain time, depending what time drop off or pickup is. Transporting animals if we're doing a pull from a shelter to bring them to foster homes. Bringing supplies to fosters. We go to a warehouse every 6 weeks and we always could use help distributing supplies. So a lot of things just with transportation. If you don't want to foster permanently, like have a group until the end, we could always use babysit fosters. So if you want to get your toes wet, we could always use fosters that could help cover a vacation or a long weekend. That way you can kind of see if you like it or not. We've got all kinds of special events that we do throughout the year that we can always use volunteers, different event plannings. Whiskey and Whiskers was a perfect one. We had about 45 volunteers working for that event. We do pictures with Santa and things like that in the winter time. So lots of fun things to get involved with there. Just being a general volunteer if you don't want to have, the animals in your home or you are a little nervous about doing that step. So on also donating, monetary donations as well as sending supplies. We've got an Amazon wish list for cats and dogs. We go through a lot of food. And if those donations don't come in, the fosters kick in with a lot of their own funds to help feed the animals that they have in their care. So all the fosters really appreciate the support with supply donations.
All right. And let's make sure that we do give a nice thank you. You all did such a great job. I mean, the feedback was amazing and people saying, this was the best whiskey event I've ever attended. I mean, that's incredible. And we couldn't have done it without the sponsors. So do you want to talk about some of those, people that immediately jumped on board and said, yes, let's help you out?
Yes. And, crazy too, because with this being our first event, nobody really knew what to expect. So the fact that they kind of took a chance on us, gave us these sponsorships before they even knew what this was going to look like. We couldn't thank them enough. Certainly West Fork Whiskey Company, where we were allowed to have the event and also partner with them to put out our private selection bottles. Sugarlands was our first, other sponsor outside of that. They're like, absolutely, we're on board. Tito's, Hotel Tango, local distillery, they were great. So it's just really nice to have that support. Obviously you, and we've got our two kitty cat cafes, 9 Lives and Smitten Kitten were also great sponsors. So it's nice to see both of those owners attended the event, Kelly and Holly. So it's great to see them with their families.
I need you to connect me with Kelly.
She just told me yesterday, she goes, I still didn't meet KJ. And I said, oh no, I said, we didn't get you connected at the whiskey event. So
I know that was one of the things when we got done and I was kind of doing recap stuff and I was like, oh my gosh, I still didn't meet Kelly in person.
That
So-
falls in the category of there's too many things in my mind. I wasn't, I needed like a note card of connections to make sure I made during the event. So I'm putting it on my list for next year.
Same here. And I did want to mention, while you had brought up the cat cafes, I announced today, and I'm very excited about having the opportunity to do this. We are going to do a special cat conversation, a podcast recording at the Smitten Kitten Cat Cafe, Saturday, August 10th. It'll be a 3 o'clock. You get in for the whole hour. So we're going to be sitting around with wonderful cats. And then we've got a couple of really great guests in Dr. Natalie Oldenstall and Jane Rose, who is a certified pet loss professional, and she's the founder of the Rose Pet Memorial Center. So, it's a hard thing to talk about, but the amount of times, and I'm sure that we've talked about it just amongst you and me and Marie in conversations. Loss is a part of it, and it's some of what you see in fostering, and we all saw it with little baby Giles and his heart stopping and coming back. It's like, we don't have enough meaningful conversations, I think, in general about the impact that grief has on pet lovers. So whether you are like new and have some grief that is fresh, or you're someone that's like, gosh, I can't believe this is still going on, this is going to be a really great event. So I'm excited to be able to go back to the Smitten Kitten Cat Cafe and do that event August 10th. So you ladies are going to keep bringing these kittens into your homes and making them wonderful pets and doing what you do. Is there anything you want to add, Lori or Marie, before we wrap it up and get ready for the next Whiskey and Whiskers?
I would just once again thank everybody so much for the support. We had a great turnout. Thank you to everybody that came. Thank you to everyone that participated in our silent auction, whether you were there or not. And especially thank you to our sponsors. We're looking forward to making it even better next year.
All right, ladies, we will be.
I do have one question.
Yes, go ahead, Patches.
Do you think the other cats would mind if we got another, 4, 8, 9 kittens?
We are not taking all of these kittens.
I'm just wondering.
We are not. I know. Trust me. When Lori sent me the picture today of her new kittens, and there was that little flame point sitting there, I'm like, I know what you're doing here. Okay.
I mean, look at that.
I know. Can you put your camera on Johnny Storm? Do you still have it in? Yes. He's sitting right there. So this is.
Yep. Just bring him in the picture.
Yes. So that is a baby flame point, and that is what they grow up to look like. Yes. So if you have ever looked at a picture of Johnny Storm, and every time people are like, oh my gosh, he's the most beautiful cat. I can't believe it. Look at that little girl, all happy and sleepy right there. She's going to grow up and look like that great big beautiful boy. So if I didn't just sell you on putting in an early adoption application, I don't know what else I can do. You could, what did we call her? What's her name, Lori?
Her name is Daisy.
Her name is Daisy. Okay. I'm just saying, if somebody in the kind of nerdy crew wanted to adopt her, she could be Sue Storm, and then we could have Johnny and Sue. Just saying. Not you, Patches. Not you.
I'm good with the Daisy Sue.
Daisy Sue. Okay, no.
Come on, Daisy Sue.
There is no room
Daisy
at the
Sue
end,
Storm.
This has been a blast. I think we need to have Kitten Cam more often.
Yes, 100%.
Thank you, Marie, for bringing the Buffy gang back on with us. And thank you, Lori. Thank you to everybody at ARPO for everything that you guys are doing and continue to do to help the community and help out every cat and dog that ends up in your care and that you hope you will be able to bring into your care.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And guys, remember, a limited supply of the Tipsy Tabby and the Howlin Hooch are still available at West Fork Whiskey. I 1000% recommend you guys getting a bottle of each of those. And remember, 25% of each sale goes to ARPO. And you can go to adoptarpo.org for any other information on the bottles, the cats, and everything else.
All right. Well, thanks, Patches, for wrapping that up so professionally. I appreciate you. This has been the Cat Conversation. Follow us. Well, you know what? I'm going to say all of that in the close anyway. So bye. Thanks for joining me for the Cat Conversation, powered by Storms and Melodies Calming Remedies. You can shop stormsandmelodies.com, where you can also get my book, Raised by Cats, Behind the Mic and the Meows. Subscribe so you can keep up with the Cat Conversation, and follow my YouTube channel for the positive vibes of pop culture, people to know, and pets. Go to youtube.com/KJ Today.